traveling on AIP. Welcome to World AIP, the channel dedicated to helping you implement the Autoimmune Protocol. It's also useful if you're on like a Whole30, Bulletproof, Paleo. I'm Stacy, and today I have an exciting product review. It's on the Hot Logic Mini Portable Oven, which is a really helpful thing to have if you're traveling on AIP, because you know we can't hardly eat anything at a restaurant, and if we do, we're playing Russian roulette, and it's not that easy to cook in a hotel room. In the past, I used to travel a lot. I haven't been on a vacation in like 6 years now, but before I used to travel on weekends and I would bring a little mini George Foreman grill, but it kind of smoked up the hotel room sometimes. I'm thinking this might be a little more hotel friendly. I contacted them recently and I was like, you know, could you maybe send me one to review? They didn't contact me, I contacted them. I've been wanting this, and they were really nice enough to send me one to review. So I'm gonna give you my honest review on it. They're not paying me or sponsoring me or anything like that. I've been dying to try this. So let's take a look and see what it looks like. Ooh, and it comes with a 6-cup Pyrex dish. Oh, they were a cute little note. It says, have a nice day. Thank you. You too. This is adorable. So seriously, for real, this is like the same exact size as the Paleo on the Go containers. I love these Pyrex containers. I actually have a couple of them. Pretty cool that I have another one. Yay! Okay, it comes with a quick start guide and a cookbook. Simple meals of meat and vegetables. Perfect, that's AIP. Meat, vegetables, seasoning, and enjoy the most tender meat and wonderfully cooked veggies you could ask for. You just plug it in, it's that simple. Plug and play. So I don't need a timer or cook time or buttons or any of that mess. It'll cook frozen meals. It'll cook leftovers. Alright, cool. There it is. That's the plug. And it just has this hot plate in there. And so it's gonna heat your food to 165. Alright, cool. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a few different meals in this. Something maybe thawed from frozen, something from scratch, and let's see how this performs. So first I tried to cook salmon from raw. This was about 3/4 of a pound. Stuck it in there for an hour and it looked like it was right around the corner from being done. But by an hour and a half, it was a little too cooked for my taste, although I have to say it wasn't dry. I didn't have trouble choking it down. It was still tender and moist enough. I think an hour and 10 minutes or an hour and 15 minutes would be perfect for what I would want my salmon to be. But it cooked it beautifully and it didn't take a long time. I was really impressed by that. But my next test, I decided to make my work lunch in it. So I took some frozen clam and oyster cubes, stuck them in a plate, and then I put on, you know, some veggies, and I added the fish later. I didn't want to twice cook my salmon, so I just ate that cold. It wasn't a big deal to me. Anyway, I was really happy with the way the vegetables cooked gently. They weren't overcooked and mushy, and the clam and oyster cubes thawed beautifully, and they were a nice warm temperature. Everything was perfect. And so that I had in for 3 hours, because I didn't want to have to remember to put it in exact what I just said. You know what, I'll let it warm up and stay warm until I leave. And after 3 hours, it was like, I'm sure it would have been fine to eat after 2 hours, but I don't know. They say you can just warm your food up and it'll keep it warm, so that's what I did. For my next test, I made meatballs. I used a little bit of Primal Palette Super Gyro seasoning in there, and just some fresh garlic and salt, and that's it. So they're like Greek style. 1 ounce meatballs, stuck them in there. They came out awesome. I thought they were gonna take an hour and a half or 2 hours, but I smelled something delicious coming out of my kitchen, so after 1 hour I checked them and they were totally done. Done, cooked through, perfect, tender, fabulous meatballs. Win on those. And then I was like, I wonder if you can cook a sweet potato in this thing. But I stuck it in there, and 5 hours later, you could slice through it, and it was, you know, tender enough where I still would like it a little more cooked, but I feel like this would make perfect sweet potatoes if you just left them in there overnight, especially if you had a little knife that you could slice them before you put them in there. But even if you don't, because you might not if you're in a hotel, just pop the thing in there, put some water on the bottom. You want it, you know, water. So it'll create a little steam. overnight, boom, cooked sweet potatoes. That's crazy. And then last, I put in some freshly washed raw dandelion greens and a cold cooked burger patty from the fridge. I wanted to see how long that would take to heat up, and it took about an hour. It was perfect. I probably, if I had checked it before then, it might have been done before then. Anyway, super impressed with the things that this thing was able to cook. I mean, you can cook foods from raw. Oh, geez Louise, I forgot about the, also, I took some mason jars full of veggies, like pretty much a frozen solid block of frozen shredded veggies. I took a thinner 14-ounce one, which is about 2.5 inches in diameter, and then a wider 16-ounce wide mouth mason, which is about 3-ish inches in diameter, packed, solid frozen. And those took about 2.5 hours to hit room temperature, totally thawed. So I'd say if you have something really thick like that, frozen solid, give it, you know, 3-4 hours. A paleo on the go meal would never be that thick. I mean, those are only like, you know, those things are like this. I mean, the mason jars, 3 inches, that's a lot of frozenness to get through. So I'm kind of impressed that it was even able to do that in 2.5 hours, completely thaw it to room temperature. And in case you're wondering, is it safe to cook like poultry or fish on such a low heat? The safe recommended temperature for cooking chicken or poultry or whatever is 165 degrees internal temperature. And for fish, it's 145. So you're totally safe with this little gadget. Another thing I love about this is that it cooks the food at a low temperature. I'm a big fan, I mentioned it before, Dave Asprey, Bulletproof. And one thing he advocates is not cooking your food on, especially meat, proteins, on high temperatures, which I'm so guilty of when I make my sweet and sour meatballs or my sausage links, because that brownness gives it such flavor. But ideally, you would cook your proteins slow and low in a crock pot, or you would cook your fish like at 320 degrees wrapped in parchment. Those lower cooking temperatures with moist heat are going to create less of those bad things like advanced glycation end products and polyaromatic hydrocycl PAHs, HCAs and AGEs, and they're bad and they give you cancer and whatever. Cook your meat at a low temp. Anyway, this is a great way to do that. So I love it. I'm gonna say I love it. When you're traveling, you can put your breakfast in there before you go to bed. When you wake up in the morning, you will have a hot breakfast. Then, before you leave the hotel room, pop your lunch in there. Then swing by the hotel room to eat a delicious hot lunch, pop in your dinner, and then boom, when you get back at night, you have dinner. Most foods are gonna stay good. Say you brought them there frozen, but then they start to thaw. I mean, you're still gonna get 5, 6, 7 days out of this food. All you really need is the ice from the hotel. The paleo on the go meals, they come in a cooler, in a big styrofoam cooler. So you just hit up the ice machine once a day and you keep all the stuff cold. It's like a little refrigerator you got now. And yeah, you got an oven, you got your refrigerator, you got all your food. I mean, how easy is that? I love this product so much, and I love the Paleo on the Go service. I'm kind of seeking out products that I love that I want to talk about, because I want to go to Paleo FX and I'm gonna need to use this information, and you know, hopefully I can help you guys in the process. So definitely a win on this Hot Logic. Love it. They do have these on Amazon, but you will get a better deal if you get it from their website. I'm going to link below, and you can also save 20% off if you use coupon code REALWORLDAIP, all caps, no spaces. You'll get a way better deal buying it on the site rather than Amazon. Not that I have anything against Amazon, but why not save more money? I hope this video was helpful to you. If you want to see what I buy at the grocery store, I do take clips every time I go to the grocery store of what I bought, and often like while I'm meal prepping and stuff like that too, little tidbits from my AIP life, and I put those on Lens. It's a feature of Patreon, but it's free to the public to view, and it's just like those Instagram stories or like Snapchat, but it's on Patreon. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you soon, and until then, be healthy.